Hello world, welcome back to another episode. It's my man T Swift. You know what I'm saying? Some call him T Mac. You know what I mean? But you can catch me on IG at Y Phoenix. You know what I'm saying? This is the guy that made the beat on the intro of After the Break. You know what I mean? My day one and my birthday twin. My day one brother. So yo man, what's happening, man? T, where did I start for you, man? Where did I start on this journey to production, to AI, to sound, and all the tech stuff you do and everything you do in audio and everything else?
Started off initially wanting to actually DJ. So one of the things that really kind of put that in motion as far as really wanting to do it was watching the movie Juice. You know what I'm saying? And I was like really like, man, this a GQ, cat just real smooth, real chill, but he DJing like so it made me want to really get into that. It made me want to look into that side of things, just the way that the music just, kind of like mesmerized me, and just having that type of control to be able to do something with, something that you craft, you make it your own, it's your art, and just being able to really put that out in the world for other people to appreciate and kind of see what your own personal vision is. Now, in my particular case, I didn't have the funding at the time for my own equipment. So for me, a consolation to that was let me get into this rap thing since I was already such a fan of hip hop. So it kind of went from that, just the love for the music in general, and me being like, well, let me go ahead and jump into the rap side. And then as the years went by with that, it became a thing of necessity. Like, oh, well, I still got love for the beats, I still got love for this, but I didn't have really my own way to do it. So we went from different talent shows, this, that, and the third, and then it kind of came to like fast forwarding to like,
What'd you say, T? T, what'd you say, man? What'd you say, T? I can't get turntables, but I can at least rap. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get in this
yeah.
hip hop thing, man.
Oh yeah, one way or another. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get
Yeah,
it. Like so, if I can't make the beats, I'm gonna rap over somebody instrumentals. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
And that's kind of how we did it. We did the talent shows and stuff. And I remember my first talent show rapped over like an old Slick Rick beat. You know, and it was kind of like I was still wanting to get my contribution to hip hop out into the world. Even though I was just still trying to figure it all out, but I had that much love for it. So fast forward, I was like, man, I really want to make this more of my own. I don't want to rap over other people's, instrumentals, because I felt like that's cool, but I want to carve my own sound. I got my own ideas on what I want to do, how I want to do it. And there was one cat in college. He used to make beats on this little bitty drum machine. It was like the TR Boss, the Rolling Boss joint. People know about this little small black machine, and he would make all these tracks. And this was during like the No Limit era coming in. So this was like, you know, um, the first time I was able to record onto like a cassette tape, which I know that's not like a big deal nowadays, but having your own song, your own instrumental, your own beat, like your own original thing. But I had love for like the samples. I wanted that sample sound. I wanted that, stuff that I was hearing that made me want to rap in the first place. And that drum machine was limited. It didn't have but whatever stock sounds came in it, and I wanted to go further. I felt like my music, my the way I express myself, my wordplay, all these things, I felt like I don't want to limit it to the confines of this one machine. How can I sound like what I hear on the radio or what I see on like, Rap City or Yo MTV Raps? How can I get that? So I met another dude who was like, he had more recording equipment. And then he knew another cat with like a keyboard. And the guy had a keyboard. His keyboard had like a built-in sampler on it. So we were starting to like, slowly piece things together. And it's like, okay, I'm getting closer and closer to kind of what I want my sound to be, but it wasn't quite there. So over like 2 semesters when I was in school, man, we used to get the loan checks popping, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I'm gonna go ahead and save up my little loan check money over like a course of like 2 semesters to get just enough bread to, get my first beat machine, which was called the ASR X Pro. And if anybody know, that's the red joint. My homeboy actually had the black one, and I got to get a funny story about that because he actually taught me how to make beats. So it was me, my roommate, which is also the cat that was my initial recording engineer, and then my homeboy. He comes down with this beat machine. I'm like, man, what is this? And it's a sampler, and it's got the drum pads on it, and I'm just mesmerized, like, man. He showed me how to use it. I made my first beat. I still got that beat. You know what I'm saying? It was a sample Brian McKnight. You know what I'm saying? And put some drums behind it and put a little bass line behind it. And I was like, man, I felt like the RZA right quick. Like, man, I said,
Yeah.
nobody tell me nothing. So I went to look for that machine, and this is before internet. This is before, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had to like get a catalog come in the mail, and I looked for the machine, and it's like they didn't make it no more. I was like, oh, they don't make it no more. Like, what am I do, right?
Mhm.
So I'm like, I don't understand. Like, why would it be? I don't understand like things being outdated. I didn't know a bunch of information like when these machines come out. When are they from?
Oh, okay,
It could have
gotcha,
been out.
gotcha.
It could have been out since like 1990, for all I know. It might have run its course. So the company was Ensoniq, and Ensoniq
Mhm.
is also known for the ASR 10 keyboard. And a couple of people who use that keyboard, people that people that more well known names, I'll say, the RZA used it, Timbaland used it, Kanye West was probably the most known for using it. As far as like just when he really got on, it's like, oh, he used ASR 10. Even more currently, or not as current, but the Alchemist, his stuff, he uses it. Producer named Jake One out of Seattle still uses it to now. You can go on YouTube and he's still showing beats that he made, and that's like what he uses. Like, and that's a keyboard with a sampler in it. Well, I wasn't really wanting a keyboard. I wanted more of a drum, like a drum box, like a drum machine, like an MPC type, deal. So in Sonic, they still made the one my friend had, but they had a newer version, which is instead of the black one, it's the red one.
What's the difference? Is it that you're limited on what you can do beat wise? Is that the
Uh,
difference between the keyboard one and the drum machine?
well, I didn't know how the keyboard would have worked as far as sampling, because technically
Mm-hmm.
you can chop the sample up across the different keys. And I guess that's
Mm-hmm.
cool, but I also didn't want like a long keyboard that I got to tote around everywhere. I want something that
Mm-hmm.
may be a little more compact and something I could
Mm-hmm.
probably throw like in a duffel bag if I needed to and move around with it, which is what I would often start doing once I got it and learned it. I got this machine, and the first day I got it, I kid you not, man, day one, I made 11 beats in that one day. And when I tell you I was on top of the world, I'm like, man, I just got in there, read the manual right quick, and got busy. And now the thing was, this machine, just again to kind of date the technology and where we are, this machine saved beats on a floppy disk,
Oh, the square one.
little square joints that we used to save like computer, term papers on and stuff, and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
small files. So it didn't hold much because floppy disk might have been 2 megabytes or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I made 11 beats that day I got it. The following morning, I did something and went to try to load something and accidentally erased the entire disk. So those 11 beats were gone. So what I ended up doing, I remade one of them from memory. I remembered one of them, got in there, remade it, and just was real careful about, okay, hit save, hit save. When in doubt, you know, put an extra floppy disk in, have a backup disk. So it was all these different things I would do to learn. Now, here's the crazy part. All these beats were stock sounds that came with the machine. So I was not sampling. My roommate, the guy that was my original recording engineer, I would let him borrow because we stayed in the same apartment or whatever. So he would borrow it sometimes. He came back and he showed me like the details on how to get the sampler going. And man, when he showed me that, I'll never forget the first beat I made. I sampled Michael Jackson, Human Nature. I sampled it up and I put my drums to it, had the sample looping proper, and it was just like, oh man, like you couldn't tell me nothing, you know. And this is back when I'm sampling off of CDs. So I'm plugging the CD into the back of the machine and I'm doing my thing, I'm getting busy. And it's like, yeah. So my mind just went from, now I feel like I've unlocked this other part of the machine that I ain't even realized how to use yet, because I didn't remember how my homeboy showed me how to use his version of it. And
When
there's
you
just
started making beats, did you think in your mind that, oh man, I'm about to sell these beats, I'm about to make money, it's up, it's on? Or did you think to keep them to making music for yourself while you rap?
No, when I made beats, I knew that it was like, well, I want to get my little thing going, but I was also part of a crew. So I knew if y'all need beats, I got you. Like, it's nothing. Like
Mm-hmm.
I have so many thoughts and ideas, and now I'm getting into the whole sample aspect of it. So again, going back to people that I looked up to, producer wise, somebody like a DJ Premier. He had his group Gangstar, who him and Guru was like the 1-2 punch, just like P Rock and CL Smooth. But then these same producers, Premier and P Rock, would actually produce for a whole bunch of other people. So I looked at it like that. I didn't want to keep just the beats to myself. I'm like, no, I got enough ideas and thoughts to go around. And with the crew, they like-minded, so they're like, hey man, they would give me different things to sample, different ideas, throw me different CDs, babe. Can you flip this? Can you do this? I said, yeah, we'll get in there and carve out some ideas, and we'll kind of get it in motion. So it became that thing where it's like, yeah, I wasn't thinking at the time of selling beats. It was kind of just really working with my main crew, and it's my main crew. So I was of the mindset, hey man, just here, like, what I'm saying, I got you. Because also we were in a space where there wasn't, internet yet. There wasn't all these different avenues to be able to expand and rub elbows with other people. So it was also a thing of, how do you get from point A to point B? Right now, we just kind of locked in and focused. It wasn't the time of upload your own music. That just simply did not exist.
Yeah, it sounds like you went through couple of different eras: the floppy disk era, the CD era, and now the digital era. Because you mentioned how much better it is now to be heard and get your music heard, and your reach is a whole lot broader. It's global now, at the click of a button. So how important is it to keep your fingertips to tabs, man? Because it seems like the digital space, man, is where it's at. Because I also want to go into the conversation with you about AI, right?
Yeah.
For somebody who's done as much as you've done, you and your crew, to go through all those levels and to do all the groundwork to get to where you are. What do you like about it, and what don't you like about the new the digital era now with AI and all the digital advancements?
Any type of technology that's ever come into play, you're going to always gain something because of technology, but I feel you lose so much more, generally speaking. There are things that have made, yes, things much more convenient. My second beat machine was an MPC, and there was no push one button and it chopped the sample up for you. I'm doing stuff where take 2 minutes to load a beat. I'm thinking this is the natural order of how it is. Or I went to a new machine, actually called Machine by Native Instruments back in 2010. And the thing about this is you had to be connected to a laptop at all times because the actual beat making software was on the laptop. It was not. So you're gaining the ability to chop samples faster, add plugins on the computer, do all this stuff, burn it to a CD, like, or MP3 or whatever. All that's great, but you got to be tethered to your computer to do it. So now you're losing the ability to go mobile unless you have a laptop. And even then, you're losing the ability to be purely standalone. But you're gaining speed. You're gaining the ability to do a bunch of stuff a lot faster, to drag samples in and, have a waveform, and you can see the sample as a waveform and kind of have a better know how to chop it up and stuff like that. So, and this is, again, really before the AI aspect. This is just more of a technological advancement that has its pros and cons, because what starts to happen is you have certain music purists who feel like, what you're doing is kind of cheating. Like you're taking away from what made your skill set your skill set. And I said, again, you could put all these different bells and whistles in front of me. I still have to make the music. I still have to be creative. So my thing was, oh, you're making it easier for me to be creative versus being forced to be creative out of necessity because of lack of resources or limitations. So for some people, for me, I kind of went the hybrid approach. I can do both. I can still make beats on a standalone machine. I haven't lost that skill set. I had a verse I did on a song, and I was like, if your computer crash, what is your genesis? You know what I'm saying? Meaning, if your computer goes out, can you still go back to the beginning of beat making? A lot of these, newer cats that were coming in the game when this stuff started to take off, they don't have that skill set. I still have, at the time, my standalone beat machine that I used before I went to the the newer thing. And if my computer crashed, I can still pull up the old machine, pull up my records. I can still get busy. You see what I'm saying? Like, so yes, I'm not going to allow this technology to allow me to lose something that took years to train and hone my skill on. I'm not going to just do away with it. I'm going to keep that in my back pocket,
But you know what? It always brings convenience. That's the thing. It always makes things more and more convenient. That's what evolving is,
Yeah.
But
Well,
not a lot of people agree with it. Especially, I see more vocalists that disagree with it.
well, I'm glad you said that. And we'll take the Gap Band. We'll take any artist from a certain era where they came in doing one thing, and it isn't even starting with hip hop. If you look at certain eras, like how Cameo sounded when they had the song Sparkle is not how they sounded when they came out with Candy. Those
Right.
are two different eras. And some artists change with the times. They use things to their advantage. Because you got to remember, back then they was recording to like tape, like actual reel to reel.
Right.
Where if you mess up on a song, you got to do the whole thing over. Your band better not mess up. Or they had to splice the tape with razor blades and stitch it back together. And there's a bunch of people who was doing the engineer thing, doing that, cutting their fingers from the razor blades, having to go in and precisely splice the stuff, put it back together. So people were already in the studio for hours just because of the process, not because of their performance, but it gave them more reason to have their stuff on point. Because you can't just like now I could record a song right now. If I mess up, I could erase that part of the song and literally clear my vocal out, load up another track, get right to that point where I messed up and punch in. It's, take the beat home, practice it. That'll be like the band practice you're talking about. Come to the studio, have your stuff ready just from a time perspective. But sometimes people feel like, well, you could put the beat on repeat and I'll just sit there and write to it because it's convenient to do that now because it'll just play over and over and over. And I think some people, because of that, it takes away some of the creativity, in my opinion, because I feel like you're using these things that are convenient and you're just kind of you don't understand what it means to have to track a beat in track by track. If that beat is 5 minutes, you're gonna multiply that by however many tracks is in that beat versus, oh, I could drag the whole beat into the computer now. That's done in like 10-15 seconds versus 2 or 3 hours of just tracking the music before you start recording. That's if you weren't using a live band. So there's so many pros and cons, but I never want to allow the technology to make me lazy. You know what I'm saying? That's why I always keep those older principles in my back pocket so I never get so far ahead with technology that I become lazy to the thing that I grew up on.
I think it's made you guys more productive.
Yes,
Because
it's
today
so many.
producers and everybody drops so frequent. I mean, artists drop damn near every month. So that
Well,
means the producers out there. I mean, these guys have beats for everybody. You talk about getting produced online. I mean,
definitely more productive. I can literally right now chop a sample. If I were to pull a old song off of YouTube, and of course this is just for leisure purposes, and chop it up and make a beat. And some of this is AI actually. Some of it is like, okay, it's gonna predict through AI. It's gonna predict where you would want to chop the sample at, and you press a button and it does it for you. And I'm
hmm.
like, oh, these chops sound pretty good. Or I can do it manually. But both of those processes are it helps me get my ideas out so much quicker. I'm still being creative. I'm just having something assist me. And I'm okay with that, but I never want to be so okay with it that I forget the thing that got me to this point. You see what I'm saying?
So how was that in hip hop with the sampling like that? Like, has all genres fully accepted hip hop and sampling like that when it
No,
comes to production?
no, absolutely not.
No.
There's albums that have never seen the light of day due to sample clearances.
Mm.
And it's funny that it wasn't until we went in culturally as far as hip hop goes and would get to sampling things, that all of a sudden people started making a point to be like, oh no, we don't want that. We don't want, you know, those guys using our music and making a mockery of it or doing whatever. Like, I think there's a way you can still be creative, and I think there's a way you can still meet in the middle with said artist that you're sampling from, and at least allow that artist to have a little bit of, you know, creative feedback. Because what could end up happening is a lot of those artists could have kind of had their moment in the sun, so to speak. Because I don't believe any artist is washed up or is done. I think that there's different phases artists will go through. So I'll never say you sample from a washed up artist. I'll never disrespect anybody's culture like that, or even a person.
Right.
But I will say some artists have their highs and lows. And an artist may be at a point where they kind of, you know, kind of plateaued off and they might not be as popular anymore. But somebody could sample that artist and that artist becomes popular all over again because of that sample. It could re-spark their career. It can now allow them to make more money and go on tour again and do stuff based on the strength of that sample. You know, I remember seeing that happen with Roberta Flack. So the Fugees come out, you know what I'm saying, in 1996 with Killing Me Softly. That's a Roberta Flack sample. And I remember Roberta Flack was like, yeah, this revitalized my career pretty much. You know, so much to the point that she would go on tour with the Fugees and sing that, you know. And my generation, or ones, you know, right after, they might not know that original song. Or they might have heard it and not realize. Because the first version that I ever heard was actually the Luther Vandross version of it before I heard the Roberta Flack version.
Whose version?
Luther Vandross.
Oh.
That's the first one I ever heard. But again, it's based on what you're around and what kind of music being played, you know, amongst your family. So that for me, and again, without me being able to go back and do my research because I don't have or didn't have access to those resources, like people with a bunch of records, record stores, local DJs who just had a whole, you know, supply of just music at their fingertips. I didn't have, you know, there wasn't like, oh, I like this song, let me look it up. That didn't exist back then. So again, I think what happens now, what a lot of people deal with in terms of the different generations and the younger generation versus maybe my generation or even ones older than me, there's so much ability to use your resources. And this is what I kind of go back to with the whole technology makes you lazy thing. My argument, and I'll stand on this, and whoever got a issue with it, we can always, you know, have a respectable debate about it. But my stance is this: I didn't have the internet. I couldn't, at my disposal, go type up whoever and learn about them. The younger generation, or any generation that has access to the internet, I'll say it that way. You can literally, I just say Roberta Flack. You can go type in Roberta Flack and find all kind of stuff. You can learn whatever you want to know about all these artists from the past.
Yeah.
And the biggest gripe that I have is younger artists don't pay homage to artists from the past. They come into the game thinking it starts with them. And I'm like, no, it came from somewhere. You didn't just jump into the game and the music started with you. Things came before you. People came before you. Samples you might have somebody sampling, you don't even know that's from somebody else.
So it's more on the artist. So you saying it's more on the artists that don't know the history, not so much the producers.
No, it's both. It's both.
Oh, okay.
Both. Because the producer wasn't making the beat. So the producer would be equally as guilty, if not worse. Because it's like, oh, you don't even realize that you sampling a sample of a sample. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've heard songs now where it's gotten so bad that some producers will sample a song that was done in the 90s. And we're going back to technology. If I sample something from the 70s, the drums not going to be hitting as hard. They're probably not going to be no 808s in there because that wasn't part of the sound. You had a live band usually. There were no beat machines and drum machines. So you could sample something back then. It's a little easier to kind of filter out some of the low end of the drum so you can put your own drums on top of it. But now, once the 80s and the 90s and these drum machines came into play, these louder drums, and people want their drums hitting hard, newer producers are now sampling songs from the 90s and the early 2000s. And the thing about that is you're sampling the songs with the drums still intact and try to put your drums on top of drums already there that are still prevalent, and they're not even filtering the drums out sometimes. So that goes back to, wow, you don't care that these drums are already on top of other drums and it just sounds bad. But part of what you're saying, technology, AI, glad you brought it up. Now I can sample, let me just say, let's say for leisure purposes, I sample a Mint Condition song.
Mm.
Let's say I sample Breaking My Heart from Pretty Brown Eyes, right? What if I don't want none of their drums? Okay. Well, AI now allows me to use something called STEM, what we call STEM technology, where you could basically stem out the parts of the song. I can remove the drums. I can remove the vocals. I can literally have just the music playing. Now I can put my own drums on it, and I can have bring somebody else in and sing on top of it if I want to. And again, that's not me being lazy. It's allowing technology to work in my favor. Now I can remove the drums. So if more producers are looking into that now and doing that, then that's a great way to remove the sounds you don't really necessarily want and make it your own. Put your own spin on it. Make remixes. Do all the stuff that we couldn't do as easily back then. Because AI lets you do that too. The stem separation. You can literally take an acapella, put a whole nother song to it. The some of the different softwares like Serato will allow you to know the key of the track, so the vocalist makes sense over whatever beat you choose is in the right key. All that's done through technology. Those are great strides, but there are DJs who came up and did that with their ear. So some DJs may frown upon that, or some people DJs be like, no, you make my job even easier. I could be more creative even faster now. So it's pros and cons across the board.
Which this is actually what made me jump onto fan base. I heard Isaac Hayes III say that Grandmaster Flash, if he would have gotten credit for creating the transformer, the turntable, for scratching to be what it is today, how things would be different in that brother's life and for his family. You know what I'm saying? And whoever else he connected to and who he loved. And T, I always say humility keep us broke. I'm not saying don't be humble, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying, man, too humble, you know what I mean? Because we giving. But now with the digital space, I'm seeing that it's being done more so like with swaps and stuff like that. But I'm saying it's being more accepted overall with everybody, even strangers, because of the way that you make money now. So is it just easier to get paid digitally now?
I'm gonna say yes and no. It's easier to get paid in the sense that you have a lot of different avenues to get paid. Where the difficulty comes into play is the floodgates have been opened. So right now, if I wanted to say, hey, give me a few minutes, let me go to my computer and upload the song I did yesterday. I can upload to streaming, right? I can put it on social media. I can basically self-promote. And that's great. But what's stopping you from doing it and 500 other people? There's over 10,000 songs that come out almost every day.
Mm.
That's what you're competing with. You're competing with 10,000 songs and you don't know if they're good or not. You got to weed through the songs. So all of these people, yes, they can do it, but there's no guardrails anymore that says, hey, what's stopping the 13-year-old from making a song and uploading it tomorrow? Nothing.
But I think that's why so much music sound alike and why it's so hard to weed through it. But I also understand that's why we have gimmicks. You know what I'm saying? That's why we have the goofy sounding music. That's why we have all of that stuff, because they're just trying to stand out. Because that's what a hit is. That's what things are, is something that stands out. We had a conversation the other day, right, about being in character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we were saying that, people really not in character because there's something in them that allows them to have that ability. So they're really being themselves in a way. It's no different from Beyonce having Sasha Fierce. You know what I'm saying? Right. Or Jay-Z being Hov. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or Kanye being Ye. You know what I'm saying? It's really them being themselves.
Well, and I think what also happens is it's and I mention this to different people all the time, the difference between an actor that does a movie. You can differentiate when an actor is acting in a movie. No one is going to say, oh, that person that shot somebody on, in the movie, he's really like that in real life, right? There's a distinct differentiation between actor playing a role and the person outside of that. In music, it always feels like the person that's performing is their true self doing this thing they love to do. It's very difficult for most people to see the differentiation between I'm just playing a role musically, I'm being a character musically, versus, oh, this is really the life I live. I'm really murdering people every day and killing and selling drugs. Can you do you understand the level of self-incrimination you would be doing if I just gave you a beat and walked away and y'all come out with a murder, death, kill song? I ain't had nothing to do with that. It ain't on me. I didn't give you no direction. I just provided you a beat. I
Right.
basically gave you a canvas and I gave you some paint and walked out the room.
Right.
It can't be my fault. Not me alone. What you make with it is on you. But if I start telling you, yeah, do this, do that, write about drugs, write about this, cursing your track, talk about, this, that, and the third. If I'm giving you direction, now I am equally as at fault.
Yeah.
But guess what? But guess what's going to happen? No one cares about the guy doing the stuff in the background. Hey, do this. Hey, do that. They're going to hear the song and hear the artist performing it. And that's the person they're going to place blame on.
AI, I'm gonna be honest with you, T. I really respect like some of the business side, you know what I'm saying, as far as marketing. I like the AI marketing. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Distributed marketing tools out there. I like that. I don't so much like the customer service. You know what I'm saying? I like the production side of it or the beat making side of it.
Mm-hmm.
I like the editing side of it.
Yeah.
You know, I like the writing, some of the writing side of it. You know what I mean? That part, but I don't like the vocal side of it. I do like the vocal side of it, but only in marketing and advertising.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Only in marketing and advertising.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't like it musically. Maybe like an ad lib, maybe an ad lib or two. You know what I'm saying?
Without responsibility is a liability.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Here, when you use AI to chop samples and take the drums out and do whatever, it helps you get your idea out there faster. I'm all for that, right? If that's your thing. So the same way with AI with the vocals and stuff, there are instances where it can help. For example, prime example. So the rapper Beanie Siegel, he has issues with his voice, where he's pretty much can barely, project the way that he used to. Because of AI, he's able to basically restore his actual voice through AI. It's him still rapping, but AI is allowing his actual voice to come through as if there was nothing wrong with his voice. To me, that's a prime example of what I would consider AI done right, because it's literally the artist using a tool that's going to help him still be able to make art, given the circumstances. If someone else was using his voice and making songs and was doing that without his permission, but AI, you found a Beanie Siegel, AI plugin, and people just making stuff, that's irresponsible. So that's why I go back to technology without responsibility is a liability. Now that said person that's biting Beanie Siegel's AI voice and making his own stuff, you finna have a potential lawsuit on your hands. You know, you put yourself in liability. So I feel like AI. You mentioned about use AI for writing. Yeah, you can use AI for writing to help get ideas started, and then maybe you finish it off. No different than me using AI for a beat. I get the beat started, but I finish it off. I still have to be creative. I don't want to. I don't want it to do the whole thing for me.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? There are some people who, you don't have that level of integrity. And they're like, nah, I'm gonna let this thing do the whole thing.
Right.
And that's where I have the issue. It's like, look, I'm all for tools to make your job a little easier, but don't ever let it overtake. Don't ever let it prevent you from being able to be creative because you're choosing to become lazy. Because I'm never going to say that all AI is bad, but also I've seen stuff on AI is, again, they not being responsible. I've seen stuff I'm like, I don't know if this is real or fake anymore. And that's where it gets scary. I've seen some AI Tiger Woods and he chilling with the cops after, before they arrest him. He talking crazy. Like, come on, Tiger Woods really didn't say that. But they got an AI video, and if you don't know any better, you might think that's really what happened when the cops pulled him over. How do you stop that? There's no guardrails. There's no one to say, hey, you're not allowed to make that video. You better do a cease and desist. Like, it's just running rampant. I didn't even look for that video. It found me. You see what I'm saying?
Fake news.
fake
You got to start
news.
throwing flags and saying fake news.
Right. But it's but
Fake news.
fake news. But the sad reality is some people
Man,
just like to be entertained. This is what social media has become. It's a whole bunch of one-liner jokes over and over.
but that's the shock to pop. That's
Uh-huh.
the shock you need to get on and get that check, man, because you know it's real money in this now. You know
Uh-huh.
what I'm saying? It's 4 point something billion in 400 and something billion in it. It's
Yep.
supposed to be almost under 800 and something billion next year. You know what I'm saying, man? It's a lot of money in social media. It's a lot of money in entertainment. It's a lot of money in music. It's a lot of money in the visual space, man. It's a lot of money in everything,
It is.
visual, audio, entertainment, everything in the whole
You are.
industry.
It
It's a
is.
lot of
It is.
opportunities, but everybody may not get to it because there's so many people
There you
in the
go.
race.
And as I'm
You
about to
have
say,
to stand out, man. So I'm just saying. So
how do you
for
stand
them to
out?
do the buffoonery,
Uh-huh.
be in the goof troop, you know what I'm saying, or what may seem like the goof troop, because there is an audience for that, man. That's why they win.
Unfortunately.
Do you know what I'm saying? Be yourself anyway. But you know what
But
I'm saying? But it's a community for that though, T.
but everything comes and goes, right? So once again, I go back to the responsibility of it. Yeah, you in the moment, you might get paid in the moment, you might make up a dance and go viral and all that stuff is well and good. But what are you doing that's going to sustain you? Because
Mm,
if I bring it back to the music side, and you know this as well as I do, when them old songs play, when the Ozzy Brothers song play, you know what I'm saying? Living for the Love of You, when these different songs come on, they had a certain level of, you can play them right now and they're going to hit the same. The soul of the music is gone. Why do you think,
true. Oh, true, true, true.
why do you think, like I said, you play any song from a certain era back then, you could put it on, you're going to get a reaction from, if there's enough people around, you're going to get a
Yeah.
response, a reaction. People going to stand up, somebody going to jump out of the seat and get to clapping. Like these new songs, name we'll say since 2015, name me 5 songs if you can that you can say, oh man, when this song plays now in 2026, I get that same feeling. I stand up, I jump up. Everything is come in, come out. New song come up, old one get removed. And guess what caused that to happen? A lot of technology has removed the soul out of music. A lot of those live bands are replaced by drum machines. Yes, I am saying that as a user of a drum machine. But guess what? When I use my drum machine, I play my rhythms and I play them as if it was a live band. My kicks and snares have space between them. They had their little offbeat on purpose. It sounds like a real person did it. It don't sound like just a 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what I'm saying? I'm keeping the life in the rhythm. I'm not making it where it's all computerized and everything is picture perfect because that's not how life is. And that's what's happened in a lot of cases. So the soul of the music is gone. Why do you think they got rid of music programs in a lot of schools? That funding got removed. Those abilities for people to play music in bands and become a musician and join groups where you actually play live music, that stuff is a thing of the past. You know, it's been replaced about like technology. Why do you think a lot of people would say things like, "Man, I want that analog sound. Everything sounds too clean and digital and perfect,
Mm.
and it's just too clinical. It's too clean. You want something that has a little bit of grit to it." So my approach is the hybrid approach. I go back to the hybrid approach. Okay, I record stuff through digital all the time, but I then run it through analog hardware to knock some of that digital clarity off of it and give it some of that analog warmth that I grew up on. That's the trade off. You see what I'm saying?
So man, I don't know nothing about analog warm. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So you talk, he talking all over
Okay.
my head, man.
Hey,
But I feel
play
but I
some
feel
North
what you're
Pacific.
saying.
Play
Yeah,
some
but I
North
feel what you're
Pacific,
saying.
right?
Yeah, but you can hear the sound. You right. You know what I'm saying? In the tapes, the records. You know, so like I said, they had the little sound of the hits in the background. You could tell, and the sound now. I can kind of tell from a lot of the young producers what that sound like beat maker sound like.
Yeah, just to make it picture perfectly clear, am I shunning the young producers or having issue with young producers? Because a lot of those young producers are able to do things that
Mhm.
other older producers or producers from back in the day simply cannot do. So it's a two-way avenue. These young producers are doing things that blows my mind like, wow, you able to do that with because they know the technology differently. They grew up in it in a different way. We're in a generation where it came into play as we were growing up. We weren't born into it like they were. So they can do stuff that blows my mind. They are super creative. Make no mistake about it. I think what happens is there are some of the newer producers who are not willing to go back to the past and learn. And there are older producers not willing to get with the times. It's a two-way street. The thing that is unique about our generation, and it's probably the only generation that this is true for, depending on how many years you want to tie that into what our generation is. We came into this when things were actually happening in real time. So the only thing that happened before we were born was there was vinyl. When we were born, cassettes was just coming into play.
No, 8-tracks. Forgot 8-tracks.
Well, 8-tracks, right? 8-tracks.
Yeah, 8-track. Yeah.
Something that has a little bit of, you know what I'm saying? A warmth. It has a warmth to it. That's why you play them older songs. They were recorded a certain way. There's that, like I mentioned, stuff recorded tape. That tape has a little bit of hiss. It has a little bit of something that lets you know you're capturing the elements in that room. You are literally capturing particles and things going on in real time as being etched onto that tape. You can't do that with digital in the same way. You can do it to a certain extent. So yes, digital will allow you clarity. It'll be cleaner. It'll be whatever. I tell you what, I'll even say this as another example. If you play an old VCR tape of something from back in the day, that VCR tape going to be a little jittery, have little lines go through it, this, that, and the third, right? If you play that tape, you're not even going to complain about what you're looking at. It's going to take you back to a moment in time where there's a simplicity to that. You're not going to complain like, how come it look all grainy? It's all, I want the digital. Now you may still buy the Blu-ray version of that same movie for the convenience of being able to pop it in, fast forward it real quick, jump to the next scene, and you will still enjoy it. Yeah. It's something about watching that VCR tape. It's going to take you back to that time in a way that digital version just simply cannot.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by that analog warmth versus that digital clearness and clarity. Yeah. So 8-tracks, vinyl, we grew up where we weren't so far removed from those other technologies because, you know, my pops had an 8-track player back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So I saw that technology as a young child. Yeah. Vinyl. My grandma had a turntable. My brother had the original Thriller from '83. You know what I'm saying? Like on vinyl. Yeah, I actually got the joint
with the dual cassette player.
Yeah,
so I got on top.
Yeah, so I got and then the thing about it is, we came up, me and you. It was cassettes up until the mid '90s. Then it was like, oh, CDs. Okay, we're not too far removed from that either. Like we grew into it. So it wasn't like CDs replaced, tapes in a lot of ways, right? And then we got to a point where CDs became obsolete, right? Put it on MP3, put on your phone. iPod. Yeah, I got an iPod, right? So using iTunes. Now I'm glad we're talking about that technology. So here's the thing. I loved all of it, right? I never was like, I want cassettes. I'm a grumpy old man. No. I'm like, give me the iPod. Right. I could put so much music on this little bitty thing. And guess what that became? My iPod became what used to be our Walkman.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Portable. Yep. I got way more access to music. I can drag music on there, take it off as I please. iTunes got hip to the game. Now, here's the thing. Here's the catch. iTunes, you can download music digitally. You can buy albums full price like you would pay for a CD, right? So I can go on iTunes, buy the music I still love, put it on my iPod, go jogging, go to work, whatever. I got my music at my disposal when I need to listen to it, right? Here's where it started to shift. You went from iTunes, which I think was great, and then it went into streaming, where now anybody could put their music on not only just iTunes, but everywhere else where streaming is available. Well, you don't pay full price like a CD for how you do on iTunes with regular streaming services. You get a fraction of a penny. So yes, technology has given us the ability to upload our own music to streaming, so everyone has access to it, and we don't make hardly any money unless you're selling millions of streams. But if iTunes was still the only game in town when it comes to streaming, or even downloading rather, you could pay full price. Granted, there are sites like Bandcamp where you can put your music on Bandcamp and you could set the price you want and people can literally download it or they could stream it. But you would only stream it through Bandcamp itself unless you download it and put it onto an MP3 and then put on like a thumb drive or an SD card if you want to, some of these technologies have phased out a little bit. So streaming now seems like the most palatable option, but it's the least option that's going to get you paid the way that you would want to get paid as an artist, unless, and this is what you said earlier, unless you start pushing the situation of, okay, direct sales, using AI to self promote, using my technology to promote my way where I can go do live show somewhere, bring my merch with me and do sales, direct hand to hand sales like that. The problem is some of those sales, I mean, who has a CD player nowadays? Some people do, clearly, but it's a difficult sell because so many people like, I just play it from my phone. So that's where it's a slippery slope, in my opinion.
But that's where we are. And the convenience is what we've always wanted, to make things easier, faster, accessible to everybody, to more people, to not be left out. And here we are today. So you got a lot of new, inspiring artists, a lot of new inspiring beat makers and producers, what I mean, that's out there in the world, man. And they doing the good stuff. I'm no different from anybody. We all gonna have something that we dislike.
Now let me ask you this: what is it with the vocal AI stuff that you don't like? Like, is
Like
it what
singers,
elements of it is like?
the singers, the R&B singers. Like I said, I'm good with it if you want to make a Dr. Pepper commercial. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
But
right.
to put out an R&B hit, like I can't. Like to be a digital Luther,
Uh-huh.
you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying, to be an AI Aretha.
Yeah. I know there was a big hang up about there was a thing some months back with Timberland and he got off into a whole thing with AI and he actually created an AI artist. Like it wasn't even a real person. It was literally not a
Right.
real person. And people were in an uproar about that. And I get it. I was like, yeah, you're not even an actual person. Like how are you gonna come out with music and you're not a real human being and someone's making money off it. Someone's making money off of all of this. So my thing is AI, like there shouldn't be the differentiation of, okay, there should not be where I am dealing with not even a real person anymore, and I'm a fan of not even a human being, like you're not even a robot, you're not even real, like you're
Right.
literally on a screen.
Right.
I can't go see you in person in a show. Let's say put up a big screen and I'm watching. You know what I'm saying? Like I
That,
don't.
that, but it's only because it's the music industry.
But
So now we got Wi-Fi Wu-Tang Clan. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So
which I'm not rolling with. But
basically, it's digital Milli Vanilli. So you know what I'm saying? So what if they make an artist like that, like the costume at Comic Con, like an artist, like a real physical character like that? Because it's a digital character.
well, I think what happens is the state of things that we're in is no different than anything else throughout the course of time. There's an audience for anything,
Yeah.
and it's all about what you do to capitalize on said artist. There's an artist for everything. I'm sorry, audience for everything. So you literally could do what you're saying. I could draw up an AI character right now, and if I got a good marketing pitch and this, that, and the third, I'm sure, and it could be goofy behavior and everything. There's an audience for it. Now, is it
Yeah.
going to guarantee I make millions off of it? Who knows? But at the end of the day, I come back to what I'm saying: integrity. I'm coming back to, as an artist, it's okay to go into character. It's okay to expand maybe what the real human being person wouldn't do because you're acting under a name, like an artist name, and you're not being your actual self, so to speak. The problem with that is there are people who don't know how to distinguish between he's just being an artist versus this is who he really is, like we said in the movies. So now when AI comes into play, it's like, wait a minute, if I don't know any better, and if I'm just believing everything I see on TV or on a screen, I go back to the Tiger Woods situation. They had Tiger Woods wilding out during the arrest, and I'm like, some people might, if they don't know no better, man, Tiger really cutting up, and they might repost, call everybody know, and go, hey, go watch this. And now you're getting someone who posted as gaining traction and gaining viewers and feeding the algorithm because they did something that was, dare I say, irresponsible, but did it for entertainment, and that could be their excuse. And because there's no guardrails to stop them from doing it, I go back to what I said. There's an audience for everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, man. Hey, man.
Yeah.
No artist, no producer left behind. You know what I'm saying? That's what it sounds like the way it is, man. No, one come all. That's what Kendrick. That's what Kendrick was showing. Come on, come all to the show.
Hey man,
Come on, man. Hey,
get in where you fit in. You know the old saying, get in where you fit in. You know what I'm saying?
come on to the show. You
If
know.
you can if you can do it and you feel good about it, like if your own conscience can be rested assured behind whatever moves that a person decides to make, and you don't think you're doing no damage and hurting people in the long run, go for it. You know, who am I to say what's right and wrong, because that is subjective nowadays. I think there are fundamental morally right and wrongs, but who am I to say what's too far? You know, like who am I to say, well, how do I differentiate between, well, you display violence in a movie, who am I to say that's not art, versus
Well,
someone else being like, you went too far?
you the person to say it for your community. You know what I'm saying? Because we all in communities, like you said, just like them, they have an audience. We're all in communities that are like minded, and it's for our community to walk in the light of our beliefs. If not, we'll be at war with somebody else trying to convince them to move like us.
Right, right,
Now
right.
that's why I say to the goofies, ain't no knock to you. You know what I'm saying? You just goofy to us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We love you just the same. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know you're saying you're goofy, but you know what I'm saying? You doing what you're doing. It's
Yeah.
all good. You know what I'm saying? But to your point, it's an audience for everybody. You know what I'm saying? You got to respect it. You know what I'm saying? Just not our audience. You know what I'm saying? Even if they want to lean in, we can collaborate. We can do all that because there's a mutual respect. You know what I'm saying? I
Right,
know the motherfucker may call me a certain something. They may call you straight hip hop head. You
yeah,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying? You're a hip hop head. You know what I'm saying? That ain't, you know what I'm saying? So let's all collaborate and be great, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about it. You know, let's talk about this intro beat, man, that I use, man, on my podcast, right?
Okay.
Man, we gotta talk about this beat now. You know, that's not the same beat from early 2000, is it? Is that the same Jeffrey?
It's mid 2000 Jeffrey. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, was it
it's
the same one?
yeah, yeah, it's the same sandwich. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's like is you had to feeling when it was made. You know, we try to bring it back out. You know, fill it
Yeah,
out a little bit, do my tweaks here and there. And a lot of that is also based on the type of mood that you're in.
yeah,
Um, and going through the different phases, because even then, when I made that beat, the beat machines I was using at the time is different than what I'm using now.
mm,
And the beauty of it is, a lot of things that's made, especially in art and where you are in life, it's reflected in what comes out of it. Meaning, if I were to take that same sample today and try to recreate that beat, it's going to sound a little different. I might be able to loop it at the same loop point, but the way
mm,
I do my drums, the different way I mix may be different now. All of that factors in, right? And I say all that to say, when you are in a certain frame of mind and you are at a certain point in life, what you create is going to be as unique as that time frame you're in and that mood that you're in. And I think that's the beauty of art. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can try to recreate something from back in the day. It's going to be different as much as I try to make it exactly the same. I literally have sampled something and made a beat and then turn right back around and use a different drum machine and do the same thing over, and they sound different. And they were done like an hour apart from each other. And you're like, well, wow. So sometimes different machines and different ways you go about how you make your art also is reflected. So if you told me, hey, can you remake that beat? I would say I could try, but it's not going to be the same. My ear, the way I hear things is different now. The way that I would probably approach the sample would be different now. But for it to be what it was when it was made, it still stands up today. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the thing I love about it. You can make something truly timeless, and there's no expiration date on it if you're going from this, it's being art and it's bridging the gap. And that's another thing I always wanted to do why I got into sampling, especially. I always wanted to pay homage to the stuff that came before me, and incorporate the new energy as well, and do it in a way where it's respectfully done, you know, in my from my standpoint. So that was always
Mm-hmm.
my whole reason. Because people ask me like, why do you sample so much? I said, I'm trying to make something that my folks can jam out to and be like, man, I remember that song, and man, you know, oh, you did that too, okay, like you kind of kept the integrity of it, so I could roll with it versus me just butchering the poor song and making it something that it never was. You know, you still want to keep some of the elements that made you fall in love with it in the first place, but add that new energy at the same time. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so so yeah, man, Jeffrey, man, Jeff, I got a couple more on Jeff. You know what I'm saying? Cutting you up.
Yeah.
You know.
Man, that Jeffrey, man, I know y'all love that intro music.
Oh
You know what
man,
I'm saying? Yeah, that's he made that Jeffrey. Yeah,
every
man,
time.
and Jeffrey Osborne, man, that joker hard, man. That was one of my favorites back then. You know what I'm saying? I was like, ooh,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
same one. Yeah, I
I
like
appreciate it,
that.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely got that beat. Remind me of the afternoon mix on the radio, B102 back in the day. You know
202.
what I'm saying?
Yes,
Baby,
sir.
take me back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. More baby, more
Saturday
child.
afternoons after the Zydeco session went off. You know what I'm saying? Right after Casey Kasem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, so yeah, man. Definitely, bro. But T, man, bro, I definitely appreciate the time, man.
Oh
I ain't gonna
yeah.
keep you too much longer. I definitely appreciate the knowledge, man, your journey. And yo, tell us about your group, man, your squad you with, man. You guys been traveling and tearing it up. You just did a show in Austin. You know what I'm
Yeah, yeah,
saying? Tell
yeah.
us about that, man. How we can tap in with it.
All right, so the group that I'm gonna be doing some more shows with, the show actually be coming up later this month on April the 24th, which will be out in Austin at the Flamingo Cantina. But that group that I'm getting busy with, we're called Fist of the Lone Star, and of course you can find us on Instagram, any social streaming. Right now, singles is popping. One of the subgroups within that crew, you know what I'm saying? They just put out their joint, their album be dropping on the 20th of this month, you know, and they go by the name Dutch Masters Black. So you could check them. They have a single out called Everything Black. It's on streaming as we speak. It's also, you know, again, you go to Instagram. The Fist of the Lone Star is also the Instagram name, and Dutch Masters Black is also their Instagram handle. So again, it's like a group within a group. And again, we'll be touring later this summer, probably like late July. But the show coming up in Austin is April 24th. So if you're out in Austin, check us out. You know, we down to get busy.
T, man, tell people how they can tap in with you, man. How can they reach on IG, all social media, man, and how can they tap in with your music on all DSPs?
Okay. So for myself, um, on the DSP tip is going to go pretty much under Y Phoenix. You know, that in itself, people also know me as Swift or T Swift. On Instagram, you can see me as a Swift underscore Y Phoenix. So you can find me that way. If you type in SWX, you can stop right there. I should pop right up. It's got my little cartoon, you know what I'm saying, thumbnail, so you'll know it's me. Other than that, everything is under Y Phoenix. So you can spot me on Bandcamp, you know, yphoenix.bandcamp.com, or just any streaming service. You look for Y Phoenix, and I'll be there co-chilling, whether it's as an artist, also as a producer. So there's tons of beat tapes, albums. I got another solo I'm working on right now called Over the Influence. That'll be out later this year. So again, once everything is up and going, either hit the social media up, do it like that, or go straight to the source. You know what I'm saying? Whatever your streaming platform is, whether it's you know, YouTube or Spotify or Apple Music or whatever you get down with title, it should be available everywhere. So that's how you can spot me.
Yes, sir. That's dope, man. And yo, T, man, I appreciate the time, man. I appreciate the knowledge. I appreciate your insight. Man, but we can go and go, man. You know, and that's
Yeah,
just the Leo in us. You know what I'm saying? Because our
you
birthday
already
the
know.
same day. Me, you,
Same
Nip
day.
Hustle. You know what I'm saying? I
Yep,
don't know
yep.
who else share the same birthday with us. Rest in peace, Nip. You know what I mean? But
Absolutely.
yeah, man, it's just, plus we day ones, man. He's the first
Hmm.
dude, first time I ever went to a university, stayed in the columns, you know what I'm saying? At
Yeah,
this
yeah.
spot, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Shout out to Northwestern, NSU time. You know, always a pleasure. Come down, visit. You know, fam. You know how it is.
Absolutely, man.
Yes, sir.
But yo, man, if y'all in the H-Town area, man, hit him up. If you are anywhere on the globe, you know what I'm saying, anywhere around the world, you know what I'm saying, get this guy a try, you know what I mean? A real beat maker and a producer too. I'm gonna call you a producer too, man, just because,
Oh yeah.
it sound like real production to me. I'm just saying.
I try to put on many hats whenever I can, whatever it calls for. You need me to be just a beat maker, I got you. You need me to get in there producing. Do a little extra, I got you. Need me to mix and engineer, I got you. So however you need it. You need a verse, I got you. It's like however you need it. You know what I'm saying? So it's all
Yeah,
love.
absolutely. But T, man, I love it, man. Man, I love you, my brother, man. And you have a
Hey,
good
love you
one,
too, bro.
brother.
You already know what it is, man. All right,
Yes,
man. Signing
sir.
off,
Till
bro.
next time, man. Respect and salute.
All right, bro. Peace.
We go.
If you play that tape, you're not even going to complain about what you're looking at. It's going to take you back to a moment in time where there's a simplicity to that. You're not. I want the digital. It's something about watching that VCR tape. It's going to take you back to that time in a way that digital version just simply cannot. Okay, I record stuff through digital all the time, but I then run it through analog hardware to knock some of that digital clarity off of it and give it some of that analog warmth that I grew up on.